supposed to practice social distancing, but it's impossible. Like, my neighbor is literally 3 feet away from me, both sides.
Tonight, a first-hand account of life behind the walls of an Ohio prison overrun with coronavirus cases. So far, more than 1,900 inmates inside the Marion Correctional Facility have tested positive for the virus. That's more than 3 out of every 4 inmates there. The number of cases inside the prison is now more than all of Cuyahoga counties. 5 on Your Side investigator Scott Knoll has more tonight on what some are calling a human rights travesty.
The numbers are staggering. 1,950 inmates positive for COVID-19 behind the walls of Marion Correctional. Another 154 prison employees tested positive for the virus, while others, like inmate Jimmy Jalilia, wait for results.
This is a prepaid debit call from
James. That's the aggravating part. They won't tell us. We don't know. When the number's that high, we don't know if we're the ones who had it.
Jalilia is serving 17 years in prison, convicted of aggravated robbery and robbery in Cuyahoga County.
This call is from a correction facility and is subject to monitoring and recording.
We talked to him by phone. His unit quarantined because of COVID-19. The entire prison tested for the virus last week in an effort to identify who was infected and try and limit the spread. He says 2 inmates from his dorm were taken to isolation today.
Then it's like, okay, well, they've been here. If they're infected and you just found out that they were infected based on the test results that you took last week, chances are they've infected somebody else.
He's still waiting for his results. He says tensions behind Marion's walls are high.
The frustration is building and building and building amongst everybody in here. Tempers are flaring up at just the slightest provocation.
While on the outside, all his wife can do is monitor the situation and pray.
I saw the numbers and I just broke down bawling.
Azura Crispino is not only his wife, she's a prison reform advocate. She worries sick inmates won't have access to the help they need.
We've been saying for a long time now, we don't want ODRC to be the next Rikers Island. We don't want to see mass graves being built in the back of prisons in Ohio.
Ohio Department of Rehabilitation and Corrections says 38 Marion inmates have been sent to the hospital for treatment, and says many inmates who tested positive weren't showing any symptoms of COVID-19, something the director of Ohio's Department of Health echoed today.
As we know, there is a significant amount of the population who are really being carriers or vectors without even realizing it.
And that's what scares Crispino. She says even if you don't care about inmates' health, the threat of workers carrying it out of the prison and into the community is real.
The virus doesn't distinguish between why the person is in that facility. From the virus's perspective, they are all eligible hosts.
It's why she says now is the time for the state to seriously look at reducing the prison population to try and slow the spread of the virus behind bars.
This is a human rights travesty and public health crisis.
Worried.
So far, no inmate deaths at Marion. Is that reassuring, or do you think it's just a matter of time?
That's a really tough question to answer. We're trying to stay calm. We're trying to pray. We're trying to have faith that our family is not going to be impacted by this tragedy.
But
at the same time, it's a daily struggle.
In Cleveland, I'm 5 on Your Side investigator Scott Knoll.